This video about pineapple got over 1 million views. Why? Because it's not just random AI clips thrown together. It's master storytelling using the power of Nano Banana Pro. If you're able to replicate and understand this could 10x your growth. Just remember me when you hit your first 1 million views. Here's a full step-by-step of the process. No gatekeeping. Let's grow. Okay, first things first, we're going to start with the analysis, trying to understand why storytelling works time and time again. So here I have a video which I found a few days ago, 3 days ago, and it's got 62,000 likes, which is a lot of likes. But the beauty of this is that this page only has 17,000 followers. So this is a proven format and it's going super viral right now. Okay, now what we're going to do is quickly analyze this using our friend Gemini 3.0. Now, something that I've noticed across the storytelling world right now, especially on short form, is they use a framework called the 4 T's. Okay, and essentially this is the hook, the peak, the fall, and the twist. And you can use this prompt right here. I will share all my prompts in the description. And essentially you want to put, you are a social media strategist. This video got over 60,000 likes, blah, blah, blah. But you could use this for any niche. So everything I'm about to teach in this video, it can be used for anything. Personal brand, whatever you want to use this for. This is about storytelling and how to create with it. I've put this prompt in and then it's broken down kind of the different ways that this video has used this framework. And this gives me so much information that I can then take to the next steps. Being able to create content is one thing. Being able to understand why content performs well is another thing, because I want all of you to create content intentionally, not to just create content of monkeys dancing, slapping their hands. You're not going to make any money or do anything with that. So this essentially is a very, very good way to understand storytelling when you're doing research. But in this particular case, for us to understand this video and how we're going to recreate it. Okay, so next up, it's the script before we get into the fun content creation part. And this is going to be super easy. Again, we're going to use my good friend Gemini 3.0. I was friends with ChatGPT, but that has let me down. Although Gemini does need to improve its memory. Now, what we're going to do, first of all, is grab this new prompt right here. Again, everything will be shared. So let me grab that, paste that in here. And essentially now we're going to start building the script. So I want it to understand, what it needs to do. Okay, so this has come back as yes. So in the same chat again, and then I'm going to put this script this prompt right here, which is basically trying to get a deeper understanding of the script. Okay, so before it gives me my script, I want it to fully comprehend the script. So for my topic for this reconstruction, as you have seen potentially in the thumbnail, I'm going to go with something I found out earlier today. Now, again, you could do this in any niche. Later in the video, I will share a list of niches or topics that you could do storytelling in. What I'm going to do is basically a similar one to this particular video, which is, did you know in the Roman times, you weren't allowed to wear the color purple unless you were like royalty or an emperor or something, okay? So I'm going to make something about that. So, and imagine my channel, which is branded in purple, I would have been KO'd by now. But so you can see here that it's giving me a kind of full rundown of the script, which is, again, super, super important. So different words, etc. Boom, perfect. So here's some information I got earlier about my particular niche. Again, you can put any information you want at this point. And essentially you want to put a prompt like this again, and I will press submit. And it all stems from that original video. Now, obviously, I could add multiple videos potentially from this creator or from other storytelling aspects, and it will build it the same way. And I'm doing this literally simply from one video and a 2 analysis. So we've done 1, 2 earlier, and now we're going to have a really good script, which we're going to take to the next level. And you're about to see Nano Banana Pro in its full capabilities. So here is my full script. If you wore this color in ancient Rome, you wouldn't get a fine, you would be executed. That's a good hook. So we should have a hook, we should have the rise or the peak, the fall, and the twist. And you can see it's done it all. So the hook, peak, peak 2, the fall, the twist, boom. I'll meet you at the next section. Now, this is where the magic of Nano Banana Pro starts to happen. The first thing we're going to do is Storyboard. This is not only going to save you a bunch of AI credits, but also make your entire workflow so much better. Even if you have an editor or you're editing yourself, please pay attention. So let me type in Storyboard on Google. And essentially, I'll go on images and you can see right here. So let's press this one. This is essentially what a storyboard is, and it basically plans the scenes of your video, your story, your film. In filmmaking, they use this a lot, and we can use this now with Nano Banana Pro because it's so good. So essentially now what we're going to do is create our own. So I'm going to head over to Gemini, and here I've put in 3 different things. So I've taken a screenshot of this, put it into here. And then I've got the video, which was my original reference point as well. The original one, which got 64,000 likes. And then I've put in this prompt, which again, I will share with you all. And in this prompt, basically, there will be a point, which I believe is here, where you then paste your script. So I've pasted my script, which is here, into that. And essentially what this will do for me is then bring up all of this. So it will start to break down the different scenes for me of my script, okay? And you can see here it's done 9 scenes in this case. But another good thing about this as well is this prompt here, analyze the video uploaded, how many scenes it has, and how often they change, and provide me with the 3 prompts I can use it. Now, it analyzing the video and analyzing how often the scenes change is crucial, because that is intentional editing. Sometimes when I watch, potentially beginners make storytelling videos, what happens is they leave clips too long in certain places, and in short form content, especially, you only have a few seconds to keep people's attention. And this is going to really guide you to edit properly or create a video which has better retention, which allows you to get results like this. So what we're going to do now is break this down. So you can see it's broken down the 9 scenes, perfect. And then as in that prompt, I've asked for 3 prompts. And here I have the first prompt, which is kind of an all-in-one grid. So we'll actually create my whole storyboard with one singular prompt. And then there are 2 others, which essentially are if I wanted to do a storyboard one by one, which I'm about to show you. So let's first work with this one. So I'm going to head over to Artlist. Now I'm using Artlist because with videos like this, where they're a bit more complicated, there is a bit more kind of elements to it, from voiceover to effects to sound effects to images to videos. You want a platform that kind of ticks all of those boxes. So I'm using Artlist for this, and you can see here AI video, AI image, AI voiceover, music. It's got everything I need. But the first thing I'm going to do is head over to AI image and go to Nano Banana Pro. Now, I've already been playing around with it, of course, and I first put in this prompt right here. Okay, so this prompt right here, I would put that in right there and press paste. Make sure you've got a Nano Banana Pro model, 16:9 for this, because this is for our storyboard, okay? And then you do however many images you want. Now, for this one, we got this first, which you can see right here. This is essentially how a storyboard works. So it starts to break down, kind of the video, and this makes things so much easier. Then we have a second option. So if you wanted the full storyboard, and I'm about to show you the final product in a second, you have this one, which does it one by one. So you would paste this prompt here, and then you would take one of the scenes here. So for example, I would take this scene, paste it right in here, and then it would generate each scene, and then you start to map it out yourself. So you can build the whole storyboard yourself, or you can do it one by one. Of course, if you do it all by yourself like this, you're going to save a ton of credits. But it completely depends, because I'll show you something in a second. So now what we're going to do, head back to here, you can see I did another prompt for this one with the first one, and this is what comes out. So this scene. This makes AI generation so much easier, because then I take this storyboard of this image to my AI videos, and it has so much more context, which means the output is going to be better. Now, here I have my final storyboard, okay? And you can see it's pretty good. So what I ended up doing was, you can see here, it's done 9 scenes. I want to do a bit more scenes, about 16. And again, you would just interact with Gemini, say, I want a bit more, a bit less. It really depends on the video you're creating. But here we have 16 scenes, and you can see this is the storyboard. And it looks pretty epic. I can see how this translates with the script. If you wore this color in ancient Rome, you wouldn't get fined, you would be executed. For centuries, Tyrian purple was the most expensive substance on earth, etc., etc. And you can see it flows perfectly with the video. But let's say I wanted to change one scene, potentially I didn't like this particular one. I could just generate it and replace it. It's honestly that simple and makes the life so much easier, because now the next part of this process, I have this to follow throughout, and I have a kind of dynamic context which I can feed to Gemini, to my AI generators at any point. So let's move over to the next section, which is now bringing this to life. Get 40% off Artlist AI plans or 20% off the Max Pro plan, both annually right now for limited time only, and get an extra 2 months for free. They have a massive holiday sale right now where you can get your all-in-one AI workflow, from AI voiceovers to sound effects to image generation to video generation to everything you need to create master storytelling videos. The link will be in the description. This video is sponsored by Artlist. Okay, so the next steps are where everything starts coming together. Now, I've opened up a new chat, and here I have again the reference video and the storyboard, so the final storyboard that you want to go with. And then essentially you're going to put in the prompt, which is this one right here, which I will share, and essentially speaks to Gemini, telling it to analyze a storyboard and give me prompts for each particular image or scene in this storyboard. And again, you want to make sure you add a video as a reference point so that it understands the style that you want. So here's my video script for more context, and then you add your script. So again, this will be in the description. And what you should get from this is something that looks like this. So segment 1, the deadly door. If you wore this color in ancient Rome, you wouldn't get fined, you would be executed. And it basically gives me this first prompt, gives me the second prompt, all in like flow of the storyboard and the script, which makes my life so much easier. And you can do this literally for storytelling video in a matter of minutes each time. So let's say, I was going with this one, you'd copy this, go to Artlist, go to Nano Banana, and you would start to see your generation. So I've already started, I did this one. So you can see here my generation. Here's the first one. Now, obviously, you would cross-check it with your storyboard to make sure it looks good, potentially make some tweaks if needed. But these already, these are really insane, like in terms of the quality, like the, impact, if you saw that at the beginning, and then boom, executioner. And you would just build your flow like this. And next we would do video creation. So turning these amazing clips, turning these amazing pictures into our videos. Now, a good thing about everything we've done is we're saving credits in terms of, sometimes just going straight to video creation on AI is expensive and, consuming. So doing it with this process, make sure, okay, this is all going to be good, saves us a lot of time. One of the good things about Artlist is that you can literally grab your image. So in this case, this one right here, and you can press animate, okay, which will then take you to this. And you have the different options here. So for this, I'm going to press VO 3.1, and you can play around with 4, 6, 8 seconds, completely depends. Obviously, make sure it's 1080p and turn off audio because we're going to work on audio shortly. And then something you can do right here is essentially press suggest prompt. The prompt for video will appear. Again, this is for the intro. It looks super real. Crazy, I'm scared. Like, look how kind of, even the face, everything, amazing. Now, it's that simple, and I would just literally do this scene by scene. Then I would take it to the next level, and this will allow you to create your video pretty fast if you follow this kind of workflow. Now we're going to take this to the next level and add sound, voice, editing, so that we can bring this to life so that I can show you the final outcome. Okay, so next up is the voiceover, and again, we're going to be using Artlist. As I said, it's a pure workflow. You go to AI voiceover right here. Now, I'm going to go back on Gemini and grab my script, which is right here. You just press this button, and we'll go back to it. So I'm going to put this in here, so you can see I already done that. Now, the good thing about Artlist is that they use professional voice actors for their voices. So the voices sound super real. So
every child deserves someone who believes.
Really depends.
That is great.
Really depends on the video you're trying to create. You know, they're always adding new ones. But today, as Christmas is approaching in like a month or so, let's try this one and see how it comes out. So you can see there's different actual categories here. So I can do optimistic, surprised, sad, angry, etc. Let's see, I don't know, angry, and go with that. But essentially, after playing around for a bit, you will find a voiceover, or immediately, depends if you search enough, that is perfect for your video. That adds that extra layer. A voiceover, which has emotional impact, makes a big difference in these videos, okay? So you can see I've got my voice.
If you wore this color in ancient Rome, you wouldn't get a fine. You would be executed.
And if you listen to this one,
if you wore this color in ancient Rome, you wouldn't get a fine.
But you could see the difference. The other one is clearly more angry. So it really depends on the videos you're trying to make. You know, if they're deeper, if they're whatever scenario, these make a big difference. So you'll see which one I use in a moment. Let's move over to the next point. Here we are in the editing section. First of all, we're going to open CapCut and upload all our files and upload our voiceover of Santa. Let's take a listen at the intro.
If you wore this color in ancient Rome, you wouldn't get a fine. You would be executed.
Now, of course, we need some music for this video, so I went to Artlist and searched for something intense. The first one I heard, I immediately downloaded it.
If you wore this color in ancient Rome, you wouldn't get a fine. You would be executed.
Now it's time to cut all the AI parts synced with the script. As I was cutting, I went over to Artlist again for some sound effects. Just listen to the quality and variety of these. Perfect.
You would be executed for centuries.
Then I started to look for another music because the vibe in this video kept changing. Nice.
You would be executed for centuries. Tyrian purple was the most.
Time for more sound effects.
To produce just 1 single gram of dye.
And basically I did all the cuts and added all the necessary sound effects. And now was time for the captions. The tool I used was the auto captions for CapCut. One click, then we have ready captions. For the style of captions, I went a bit old school storytelling. I choose the Cinzel font. I cut all the necessary parts of the captions manually. And after all the steps we took together, here's how the full video looks.
If you wore this color in ancient Rome, you wouldn't get a fine. You would be executed for centuries. Tyrian purple was the most expensive substance on Earth. To produce just 1 single gram of dye, workers had to crush 10,000 carnivorous sea snails by hand. It was worth 3 times its weight in gold. It was so exclusive that Roman emperors passed laws making it treason for any commoner to wear it. When Cleopatra wanted to announce her power, she didn't send a messenger. She soaked her entire ship's sails in purple dye just to flex her wealth from miles away. But the aura of the divine color vanished in 1856. And one 8-year-old chemistry student trying to cure malaria accidentally created a synthetic sludge that turned out to be the perfect purple dye. Suddenly, the color that defined the difference between a noble and a peasant became a free color in a kid's crayon box.
Here's the final step of the day, the thumbnail. For this step, you won't believe it, but it's pretty straightforward. Here I just uploaded my edited video and asked Gemini to analyze it and pick me the best part so I can use it as a thumbnail. Look at the winner, the Angry Emperor from Scene 1. Runner up is Scene 6, the scales, and honorable mention Scene 13, the split screen. How crazy is that? Here is a list of some super creative niches, topics, and ways to use this storytelling method. Right now, you should be seeing it on the screen. Take a screenshot, but everything will also be available in my description. If this video has helped you understand storytelling even better, do not sleep on Nano Banana Pro as it's a massive tool. Be sure to check out these videos right here, which will help you take this all to another level. Artlist limited time only offer is available in my description right now. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment on this video if you have any ideas for future videos from me. My name is Alex and I'm all about growth, so let's grow.